What if I told you that one of the most iconic samurai in Japanese history wasn't Japanese at all? In fact, he was African. A man who rose from slavery to become a warrior in the inner circle of Japan's most powerful warlord. His name? Yasuke. And his story is almost too incredible to believe. Imagine feudal Japan in the 1500s, a land torn by civil war, ruled by ambitious warlords known as daimyo. Foreigners were rare, and racial differences were met with suspicion, or worse. Yet amid this world of ancient honor and bloody conflict, a tall African man would walk straight into history. So how did an African man become a samurai? Who was Yasuke really? And why has his story been largely forgotten outside Japan? These are the questions we're going to explore today. Because once you know the full truth of Yasuke's life, you'll never look at samurai or world history the same way again. Let's start at the beginning. Historians still debate Yasuke's exact origins. Most believe he was born somewhere on the east coast of Africa, possibly Mozambique, Ethiopia, or Sudan. What we do know is that he was captured or sold into slavery and transported across the Indian Ocean by Portuguese Jesuit missionaries. The Jesuits brought Yasuke to Goa, a Portuguese colony in India. There he served under Alessandro Valignano, a powerful Jesuit missionary overseeing Catholic missions in Asia. When Valignano traveled to Japan in 1579, Yasuke accompanied him as a bodyguard and servant, never imagining that this journey would change his life forever. In 1579, Japan was in the middle of the Sengoku period, an era of constant war and political upheaval. The country was largely isolated, and few Japanese had ever seen a foreigner, let alone someone of African descent. When Yasuke arrived in Kyoto, his appearance caused an instant sensation. Crowds gathered to see this towering man with dark skin and incredible strength. Some Japanese believed he was a mythological creature or god. Others thought his skin must be painted. The commotion grew so large that the local authorities intervened, and word of the foreign giant quickly reached a man named Oda Nobunaga. Oda Nobunaga was one of Japan's most powerful and feared warlords. A ruthless leader, he was also fascinated by Western technology and culture. When he heard about Yasuke, he ordered him to be brought to his court. What happened next would forever change Yasuke's fate and mark a unique chapter in Japanese history. When Yasuke stood before Nobunaga, the warlord was shocked. Yasuke was nearly 2 meters tall, towering over the average Japanese warrior. His skin was unlike anything Nobunaga had ever seen. At first, the daimyo suspected trickery and ordered Yasuke to bathe, thinking the color might wash off. This was an extraordinary honor for any outsider, and unheard of for an African. Nobunaga gifted Yasuke fine clothes, a residence in his castle, and, most significantly, a katana. This was not a ceremonial gesture. By giving Yasuke a sword, Nobunaga officially recognized him as a samurai. Yasuke was no longer a servant or curiosity. He was now a warrior, with status and respect. Japanese chronicles describe Yasuke's exceptional strength and fighting ability. He quickly earned Nobunaga's trust, participating in battles and serving as both a bodyguard and an ambassador. Yet Yasuke's journey wasn't without challenges. Many samurai viewed him with suspicion or jealousy. Others questioned his right to bear arms, but Nobunaga's protection was absolute. Under his patronage, Yasuke navigated the complex world of Japanese court life and warfare, all while forging a legend that would outlast his time. Yasuke was more than a novelty. He spoke fluent Japanese, learned the intricacies of samurai culture, and adapted to his new life with remarkable speed. His loyalty to Nobunaga was unwavering. But Yasuke's story was about to take a dramatic turn. In 1582, Oda Nobunaga's enemies plotted a deadly betrayal. Yasuke would soon find himself at the center of one of Japan's most pivotal and tragic historical moments. And what he did next would cement his legacy forever. Stay with us. In the next chapter, we'll reveal how Yasuke fought alongside Nobunaga in his final hours, and what became of the African samurai after Japan's greatest warlord fell. Because Yasuke's story didn't end in the castle that night. In many ways, it was just beginning. Because Yasuke's story didn't end in the castle that night. In many ways, it was just beginning. The year was 1582. Oda Nobunaga, the man Yasuke had sworn loyalty to, faced betrayal from within. His trusted general, Akechi Mitsuhide, launched a surprise attack while Nobunaga was staying at Honnoji Temple in Kyoto. With no time to gather reinforcements, Nobunaga prepared for what would become his final stand. Yasuke was there when the attack began. He fought bravely alongside Nobunaga's remaining guards, wielding his katana against overwhelming enemy forces. The towering African samurai became a symbol of defiance, cutting down attackers with unmatched strength. But the battle was hopeless. The temple was soon engulfed in flames and blood. Realizing escape was impossible, Nobunaga chose to perform seppuku, ritual suicide, to die with honor. Yasuke stood guard until the very end, defending his lord's chamber. According to Japanese accounts, Yasuke's loyalty and courage during this final act of resistance earned the respect of both allies and enemies alike. After Nobunaga's death, Yasuke continued fighting, but he was soon captured by Akechi Mitsuhide's forces. At this point, many samurai retainers were executed. However, Yasuke's fate would be different. Mitsuhide reportedly declared that Yasuke was not Japanese, and therefore not bound by samurai laws in sparing his life. Instead of execution, Yasuke was handed over to the Jesuit missionaries with whom he had first arrived in Japan. This act likely saved his life. While he could no longer serve as a samurai, Yasuke survived when so many others did not. His warrior chapter had ended, but his legend was only beginning. From that moment, Yasuke vanishes from official records. We don't know with certainty what became of him. Some historians believe he remained in Japan, possibly continuing to work with the Jesuits. Others speculate that he might have returned to India or Africa. What is certain is that his story lived on. Yasuke became a figure of legend in Japanese oral tradition. Stories about the African samurai, his height, strength, and loyalty, spread across generations. Though written chronicles were scarce, the people remembered him. In time, Yasuke's tale would become part of Japan's cultural memory, inspiring artists and historians alike. Centuries later, during the modern era, Yasuke's story resurfaced in global scholarship. Historians began piecing together fragments from Jesuit records and Japanese writings. The result was the reconstruction of a remarkable life, a man who transcended race, class, and origin to become a samurai in one of history's most insular societies. Today, Yasuke is celebrated as a symbol of resilience and courage. His life has inspired books, films, manga, and video games. In modern Japan, he is recognized not as an anomaly, but as a testament to the samurai spirit, one defined not by bloodline, but by honor and loyalty. Yasuke's story also reminds us of the global interconnectedness of the 16th century. Trade, exploration, and religion brought cultures into contact in unexpected ways. Yasuke's journey from Africa to Japan is a striking example of how individual lives can cross continents, and how history is far more global than we often imagine. Beyond the fame and adaptations, the real Yasuke remains a symbol of possibility. He proved that greatness is not confined by race or nationality. In a time of rigid social hierarchies, he carved a place for himself through merit, loyalty, and sheer determination, values that resonate across all cultures. His loyalty to Nobunaga, especially during the warlord's final moments, secured Yasuke's legacy as more than a warrior. He became a personification of Bushido, the way of the warrior. In life and in legend, Yasuke stands as a reminder that honor is earned, not inherited. As we continue to explore forgotten corners of history, Yasuke's story offers a powerful lesson, that heroes can come from anywhere. In a world too often divided by borders and labels, Yasuke's life shows the universal power of courage, loyalty, and the human spirit. Today, when we imagine the samurai, we should remember not only the iconic image of Japanese swordsmen, but also Yasuke, the African samurai who shattered expectations. His story invites us to rethink what we know about history and who gets to be part of it. And as more historians and storytellers bring Yasuke's tale to light, his legacy continues to inspire. A warrior, a bridge between worlds, and a man whose extraordinary life reminds us that history is full of stories yet to be told and heroes yet to be celebrated.